Good afternoon, everyone. Today I intend to highlight the need for community nutrition research and intervention because we really need healthier schools in order to build a healthier future. As you all know, we are facing for many years now a global concern about overweight and obesity. Worldwide, there were 38 million children under 5 years old who were overweight or obese in 2019. Also, in 2016, there were 340 million children and adolescents between 5 and 19 years old who were overweight or obese. In Portugal, 57.3% of all children and adolescents were overweight or obese in 2016. And since 2016, our university, Egas Moniz, performed annual nutritional screenings in 2 elementary schools. So in total, 1,155 students were evaluated during these 4 years. So in the 2016 and 17 school year, 32.8% of all students needed nutritional intervention to address their underweight, overweight, or obesity. And this number rose to 42.8% in the next school year, then decreased to 34% in 2018 and 19, and increased again to 46.4% in the present year, being that the highest value registered so far. And to me, this means that these values will continue to rise, and if you don't change our approach, this will certainly continue to rise. And in these 4 years, the percentage of underweight and obesity increased, while the percentage of normal weight and overweight decreased. And from our perspective, the decrease in the percentage of overweight can be a result of conversion of these cases into obesity cases, since normal weight cases also decreased, and this is very worrying. Also, if we look only to the data corresponding to the present year, we can see that 45.3% of the students with ages between 6 and 12 years old needed nutritional intervention to address their underweight, overweight, and obesity. Also this year, we performed a nutritional screening in one high school with the students with ages between 9 and 19 years old, and we discovered that 36.3% of them needed nutritional intervention to address their underweight, overweight, and obesity. And it's curious because in Portugal, we have a common saying that is better prevent than cure. And this is gorgeous in theory, but for some reason, we are not putting this into practice. And my big question is why? Well, in the first place, our government does not invest in prevention. There are very little job positions in that area, and there is no political interest in investing in it. So that means that, unfortunately, we are mainly focused on trying to cure, which is way more expensive. And therefore, we don't have enough health promotion interventions, which explains our low health and food literacy and our low health scores. And also, in our country, there are no school nutritionists because our government and the school boards are not aware of the role, importance, and need of a school nutritionist and how they could benefit from it in terms of health, performance, and even economics. There are a few nutritionists who work on health centers and autarkies that eventually do some nutritional interventions in schools, but they are mainly a one-time for trimester, so it is not enough. So what did we do in order to change that? We established some partnerships between our university and those schools I talked about before, and we designed structured health promotion interventions that included annual nutritional screenings, which we intended to become more frequent, like 2 times per trimester, interactive educational lectures, games, and contests. We also planned to do individual appointments, but due to this pandemic, it's turned into individual and community counseling, mainly through social media and via WhatsApp. And we developed a lot of educative materials. and we wrote some technical reports to each school board. For the nutritional assessment, we collected the students' weight and height in order to calculate their BMI-Z scores and evaluate their nutritional status. And we also developed a dietary diary specifically designed for kids their age. And as nutrition assessment techniques are discussed in the context of research, I would also like to address this topic. These dietary diaries are usually used as a quantitative method to evaluate the amount of each macro and micronutrient consumed by these children. But this time, we decided to use them as a qualitative method to evaluate what they are eating in terms of portions, in terms of quality of their choices, if they were skipping any meals, if they repeated some meals, because those are my biggest concerns when looking at a child's eating habits, because those behaviors can persist over time and even turn into unnecessary health problems. After analyzing all these data collected before, we designed interactive educational lectures, games, and contests to address their specific problems. For example, most kids didn't like to try new foods, so I developed this little game you can see here in this picture to fight their food neophobia. Also, the snacks they brought from home included a lot of cakes, cookies, and juices, for example. So I decided to create this super lunch bag contest that you can see here the logo and here some of the results. And I was very glad to see that in a really short period of time, the results were visible. And since they were kids, I tried to turn all my educational lectures into little games. So that's what you can see happening here in this picture. This is one example of a food battle between two options, and they had to pick the healthier option. And in the context of the food neophobia game, I also developed some educative materials for the parents with strategies for them to encourage their children to try these foods. And I applied some questionnaires to see if they had tried those foods we talked about in the game that they hadn't tried before. And I was very glad to see that most of them did try those foods. And also, we created this ebook with educational games, specifically adapted to their skills, and in order to increase their food literacy. And we also developed this guide for parents in the times of COVID-19 pandemic, so that their families could maintain a healthy lifestyle at home during quarantine. And after evaluating the kids' nutritional status and the school bar offer, I wrote those technical reports to each school board that would describe their situation in the present and some suggestions of what they could do in the future in order to change it. But the main goal of these reports was really to show the role and the importance of the school nutritionist, how much they need it and how much they could benefit from it. But everything I showed you before was all I could do in a 6-month period, which was the time of my internship. And for anything to change in a global perspective, that is not enough. So I started thinking, if that is the only way I can enter in schools, we really need to change this reality. So in the scope of my post-graduation in startup research, our group developed a health promotion startup specifically designed for children. And I wanted to show you our proposal because I truly believe that this can be one solution to this big problem.
We are Super Children, a consulting startup that empowers the youngest to be healthier. Our premium experience, Mission Health, includes all our services centered on the Super Children mobile app. We perform an initial bootcamp to create children's health profile in the app, and then we start our activities with Super Doctor educational games and workshops in several areas. Our super nutritionist will be responsible for Mission How to Eat, Our super psychologist will be in charge of mission how to feel. Our super dentist will lead the mission how to brush. And our super physiotherapist will command the mission how to move. Through individual appointments, we'll improve their health status. And in the final bootcamp, we'll assess the children's health profile and scores to assign awards to the first 3 places. Super children, will you join this experience?
Also, our nutrition research group in our university created a startup to serve the local community at a low-cost price. And our services include training in nutrition, workshops, menu appreciation, nutrition at home services. And through this, we could also enter in schools and perform educational lectures and workshops for the students, for example. And since the pandemic began and we all had to work from home, we decided to create a website for our university that could reach the general public and teach a little bit more about nutrition based on evidence through some short videos, for example. We also wanted to clarify some needs, share some healthy recipes, share the scientific articles that our group publishes, and the educative materials that we develop. So I invite you to visit our website, just look up Egas Food and Nutrition if you got curious. And to wrap up my session, I would really like you to take these messages with you. We need to prove through research in this area that prevention interventions are effective and can even reduce health-related costs, because that is the only way to put this matter on the table and make it a priority. Also, we need to innovate and renew our ways of thinking and acting, being that in our day-to-day practice or in research, because I truly believe that we are doing the same things in the same ways for too long. And finally, this may eventually mean that we need to become entrepreneurs and create our own job opportunities in the area of health promotion and prevention, and mainly if we are talking about a country like Portugal. So thank you very much. I'm here to answer any questions or just discuss a little bit more about this topic. Thank you.
Questions are being asked from the participants. And sometimes it is happening that later you are asking the